This is a podcast about one woman's mission to help entrepreneurs and business owners write better business books. Each week, we tackle your writing excuses, because there are excuses too, and help you beat the blank page of doom so that you can write the book that'll grow your life and your business. Now here's your host, Vicky Fraser.
Hello and welcome to the 1000 Authors Show. My name is Vicky Quinn Fraser and this is my husband, Joe.
Hello.
Hello. How are you? Are you awake?
I'm all right. I'm a little bit cold and I'm a little bit snoozy because I have just been snuggled on the sofa with my cat Noodle.
And I'm a little bit cold, but our other cat, Whiskey, is on my knee and has been for hours trying to keep me warm. We are in my office. We need to go home soon.
Yes, we need to. Yes.
So, yeah.
Yes. Podcast,
because it's the Wednesday before Christmas. It's Wednesday, the 22nd of December while we're recording this.
But who knows when it goes out?
I think it's going to be New Year's Day.
Oof, really?
I think it might actually be January 2022.
So last week I predicted that Boris would be on his way out.
Is he on his way out?
It's still circling the drain, I think, but he looks a bit less likely to be out.
Circling the drain like an unwanted hairball. Cool. What are you? We're not going to go into another.
No more politics.
Yeah, because we ranted about that enough last week. And let's be positive about the fact that there are a lot of good people in the world trying to do good things and make the world a better place. We are two of those people.
We are.
So, what are you reading at the moment, Joe?
I'm still reading Powers by Ursula K. Le Guin. I think I must be at the back end of it, but I'm not honestly sure because at some point when I fell asleep and dropped my Kindle on my face, I managed to make it no longer tell me how far through the book I am, or indeed how much battery there is left.
I'll show you how to fix that.
So no, I have no idea. I think I'm near the end.
You just need to touch the very bottom left corner in a very specific place. I'll show you how to do it.
No, clearly not. I hit that with my very specific point with my face at some point when I was falling asleep.
I'm really looking for, I know that by the time this goes out, we'll have already had the Twixmas period, but I'm really looking forward to the period between Christmas and New Year because I'm mostly going to be in my pajamas reading books and eating too much food. Okay. And it's going to be great.
Cool.
I'm going to have the fire lit. Oh, did you?
Well, no, because I'm not going to be here tomorrow. So I'm going to contact them tomorrow morning and have wood delivered on Friday.
Which is Christmas Eve, so you better hope they're okay with that.
They're farmers. They don't stop.
I'm reading The First Woman by Jennifer Nansubuga Makumbi, and it's really good. I'm still reading it. I'm still not very far through because I've been really tired when I've been going to bed, and so I've not been reading very much at a time, but I'm really enjoying it. Also reading The Art of Gathering by Priya Parker still, and that's great. I'm super enjoying that.
Cool.
Yes. By the time you listen to this, I will be reading entirely different books.
So that's not gathering as in, like, collecting things. That's gathering as in bringing people together.
Yes. Yes, The Art of Gathering. It's like the opposite of, that woman who gets you to throw everything out. What's her name? Marie Kondo.
Yes.
No, it's not. Okay, so this week at the Dingle, we have, at the weekend, we pretty much finished boarding out the walls in what's going to be the bathroom.
We got close.
Did. We've had Ken come back and build us an oak door frame.
Hi, Ken.
Hi, Ken. Which is the wonkiest door frame in the world, which is not, I'm not throwing shade on Ken there, it's the wonkiest room in the world. So he has built a door frame to suit the space. And it's awesome. So that would be cool. And if you want to see our progress on the Dingle, you can follow Project Dingle on Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I put loads of stuff on there. And the other thing I did today was on the way back from town, I stopped into Tops Tiles and Tile Giant. Other tile shops are available, and had a look for the tiles that I was thinking that I would like for the bathroom. Mm-hmm. They did not have mostly the colours that I wanted, but I did pick up 3 samples so we can have a look at them. And obviously, I was looking at less expensive Metro tiles. They had none in colours that I liked, and the only ones that I liked were
the most expensive tiles in the world. Basically, whenever we're looking at a catalogue or in a shop or whatever, Vicky is mysteriously drawn to the most expensive thing in the shop. I don't know how that happens. She'll spot it from the other side of the room and go, "Oh, that's nice. That's the one. I like that very much." And you go over and it'll be like £9,000 a square metre or something. You'll be like, "Oh, Jesus."
I don't do it on purpose. I don't choose things just because they're expensive.
Well,
there's a very specific emerald green I would really like to have tiles in in the shower area. And the only greens that they had in the less expensive tiles were not greens that met with my approval. They weren't awful. They just weren't the colour. They weren't the colour that I had in my head. Anyway, moving on. I'm going to keep looking because also it doesn't matter. We're not at tiling stage yet.
We're not.
I also need to find out about building a stud wall and also what we're going to panel the ceiling above the shower with.
Oh, talking about stud walls, Pat, hi Pat from the BJJ Club.
Hi Pat.
Is a little bit annoyed that we didn't get him round to do some floor joists.
Oh.
And he's like, he wants to go out. He wants to come around. He wants to do things. Oh. He's like, what are you doing next? And I said, well, we're going to do some stud walls next. And he was like, great, let me know.
Is he going to come and help us?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
And he's a chippy.
Awesome. He can help us build an airing cupboard as well if he wants to.
Well, absolutely.
Well, that's very cool. He knows what he's doing. Awesome. So that's, you've just heard live on the podcast, what we're doing next in Project Dingle. Actually, I don't know if it's next. It's just imminent.
Yeah, we kind of need the shower tray before we do the stud wall.
Oh, my God. And they haven't got the shower tray that we want.
Bastards.
I know. And that's not just me being fussy. Joe likes that one as well. So anyway, what are we talking about this week, Joe?
I have no idea.
Because this is a writing podcast.
I've walked in here and sat down and here we are.
Maybe we should start a Project Dingle podcast.
Project Dingle podcast. Would people be more interested in a Project Dingle podcast?
I don't know. Write in and tell us, listeners. Are you more interested in our Dingle updates or do you want to know the writing shit? I mean, I will be upset either way. So write in and upset me.
Write in twice.
Yeah. Hey. Okay, so this week, because it's almost Christmas and nobody's doing anything, and you're probably not even listening to this, I don't know what I'm doing, I'm sharing my 5 favourite creative writing exercises.
Okay.
And when I say favourite, they're the 5 that I thought of just now. Because...
5 most accessible...
No,
writing.
I have a lot of creative writing exercises and tips that I really enjoy, and like which one is my favorite depends very much on the day and the mood and what I'm doing. So this is just like my 5 favorite creative writing exercises that I could think of right now. Okay. Because fact fans, creative writing is not just for fiction; it's for all writing. So that what we write is not boring as shit.
Okay, as opposed to technical writing, for example,
which is boring as shit. And academic writing. Oh yes, I said it. I said what I said. And I stand by it. Most academic writing is boring. Most textbooks, like, do you remember your school textbooks?
Yes.
Were they boring?
Yes.
Yes. And there is no need for that. And I don't know what textbooks are like now in schools because I am neither a teacher nor a school pupil. But when I was at school, most textbooks were really bloody dull.
Really dry.
Really dry, written in academic language, using way too much passive sentences. And
way too much passive sentences?
Way too much passive sentences. Yes, I said what I said.
Okay.
And it's just, not only is there no need for it, like that actively makes me angry because you can't bore people into learning stuff. You really can't. You cannot bore people into learning things. So let's not be boring, folks. Let's be interesting and fun and funny and ourselves.
Creative,
yeah. So exercise 1. Joe, what is exercise 1?
Look for the tiniest of tiny details.
Yes. Look for the tiniest of tiny details. Because most of us, on a day-to-day basis, don't look that closely at anything. Mm-hmm. We don't examine our own ideas. We don't examine the things other people fucking tell us. I have an agenda. And we don't examine, we don't look at the little things, you know? And there's a lot to be had from noticing the tiny details. So let's, if you've got 5 minutes, you don't need any more than 5 or 10 minutes to do this. Pick a thing, could be anything. Let's say a glass of water or a frosty leaf. A frosty leaf is a good one if you're in a cold place. And look at it really closely. Like spend some time just staring at it. And then think about what does it look like? What does it smell like? What does it feel like? What does it taste like? Disclaimer, don't lick random stuff. But, you know, if it's something that you know you can taste safely, don't lick plutonium, kids. I showed you that thing, didn't I? And it was like little globs of plutonium and it looked like orange jelly.
It did.
And I was like, I bet that tastes great.
Briefly.
Really briefly, yeah. Didn't it look yummy though?
Did look very nice.
Yeah. And so that's, I know I sound like I'm digressing wildly, but that is a really good example. It's like, how often have you looked closely at plutonium? And when I say looked closely at plutonium, I mean a photograph of it. Don't get close to plutonium. It looks like jelly, orange jelly.
Very long lens.
Very
far
long
away.
lens. Yeah. Is it small or is it far away? Anyway, so yeah, really look closely at a thing that's in front of you, and preferably an everyday object that you don't normally look that closely at. And so, like, I could look at my keyboard that's in front of me now. That's me being upset about the state of my keyboard. And so I could look at, like, oh, there's the letters B, V, and C, and they're above the space bar. And then I could think about the angle that I'm looking at my keyboard from, and the way the shadows are falling, and the shape of the letters, and, you know, all of those little tiny things that you don't normally notice about your everyday objects. Or, for example, my R2D2 microphone is right in front of me, and it's actually a very beautiful thing because the crisscross of the metal threads, the mesh, is really cool. And you look at how it expands as it comes out to the middle, and then kind of contracts. It's a beautiful pattern, and it's not something that I spend a lot of time normally looking at, and I should spend more time looking at it because it's awesome, especially when you look at how the light hits it differently. It would make a really cool close-up photograph. So yeah, write about it. Look at something really close. Joe's looking really closely at the microphone now. Look at things really closely, everyday things, and notice stuff that you would not have otherwise noticed. Notice the imperfections in them. Notice the flaws. I've got a framed map on my wall, the Discworld map, that I don't really look at in that much detail very often. And so every now and then I'll pick a section of the map and look at all of the street names. And then I might notice that there's a chip in the frame where a little bit of the frame has been knocked out. So it's a different colour and it's a different texture and there's a little sharp bit on it. So yeah, notice tiny, tiny details and then compare it to things. So what does it remind you of? Be as detailed as you possibly can be, and then be even more detailed than that. And think of different ways to explain what you're sensing as well. So this is like to make a really obvious example. Shakespeare's "Shall I compare thee to a summer day?" That kind of thing. So you can be, nobody else ever has to read this, so you can be as flowery as you like.
Okay.
Cool. So that's exercise 1. It's fun. You will discover new things about things that you did not.
Maybe notice things that you never have.
Yeah. Find beauty in stuff that seems mundane. So what's exercise 2, Joe?
Write a biography of your table lamp.
Yeah, this is a fun one. This is the kind of thing that most people give me the side hairy eyeball when I suggest that they do something like this. It's like pick an inanimate object and then write a biography of it as if it were alive.
Have you? Oh God! If I'd known this was
it the
what we were
houseplants?
talking about. No,
Oh, okay.
There was a podcast.
Everything's alive.
Everything is alive.
Everything is alive. It's a podcast called Everything is Alive, and it's very silly and it's also very lovely. And you should go and listen to it because they do a really good job. If you're stuck for ideas, go and listen to it because that will give you some jumping off points.
Interviews with objects.
With inanimate objects. But yeah, and you can pick anything. So my friend Sarah Hattie, hi Sarah.
Hi Sarah.
Who is in Team Moxie, wrote a really funny biography of her table lamp. It absolutely cracked me up. It's on Instagram somewhere. If she's okay with it, I'll copy it and I'll screenshot it and pop it on my stories. But yeah, you could talk about, like, my table lamp is a really lovely kind of brass angle poise lamp, and I wrote a little biography of it when I was doing this exercise myself a while ago. It's got a little marble stand. It's quite refined, and I wrote about a little feud that it's got going with my flamingo lamp, with my neon flamingo lamp, which is much less refined, and so, like, the different journeys that they could have. But you can think about, you can be silly and give it a personality, or you can think about where it's come from and the life that it's had, and the life it might lead if it were to spring into action. You can make it funny, or you can make it serious, or whatever. But write a biography of an inanimate object.
Talk about the things it's seen.
Yes, the things it's seen. Like, if you've got a thing that came from an antique shop, where has it been? Like, I know that you probably don't know the provenance of it, but you can make shit up because that's what being creative is about.
Cool.
What's exercise 3, Joe?
Write an A to Z of something.
Yeah, so this is really fun. So for a recent exercise as part of the MA that I'm studying for, I wrote an A to Z. Actually, it was like an A to G. I didn't get all the way to Z because it was a short exercise. But I'm going to expand this. I wrote an A to whatever of my many life digressions because I was just like, I'm just going to pick a theme and then write an A to Z on it. And that was based on Deborah Levy wrote an article, which was the A to Z of the death drive. And it was all about, her theme was car crashes.
Okay.
And so she wrote about James Dean and Grace Kelly, and then just other stuff, and it was like an A to Z. And it was really interesting. It was cool. And so I thought, basically this A to Z is the realities of what it's like living with my somewhat ADHD brain, and this why we've got tiny sheep and all of that kind of thing. And it was funny, wasn't it? You read it. It was funny, and it was fun to do, and it got me thinking differently as well. And it will spark memory. So, and somebody else wrote an A to Z of pillows, I think. And that was great. It was really, really funny piece. And like, it wasn't just, you think, oh, there's only, how do you do an A to Z of pillows? But actually, it's all of the things that are related to pillows and, all of the things. So if you were doing like an A to Z of donuts, for example, there are all sorts of things that you could pull into that would relate to donuts for you, not necessarily for other people. So an A to Z is a really fun exercise to do.
Okay.
And you should watch out, because I am currently working on an article, which is the A to Z of why I'm not writing my next book. Which is going to be freaking hilarious.
Cool.
What's exercise 4, Joe?
Exercise 4 is notice more things.
Yes. So this is related to exercise 1, which was, oh Jesus, I can't even remember. Look for the tiniest of details. But yeah, we're noticing more things. So writers are really great at noticing stuff and watching things and listening to people and just paying attention.
Have you ever noticed when you're, for example, in a supermarket, there are people who are kind of shuffling around, putting things in their basket and walking around and doing, what they presumably do fairly frequently. And there are other people who are paying attention and looking around and look much more engaged with the process and are much livelier and brighter about the whole thing. Yeah. Be one of the bright people, I think.
Yeah, because again, and this is not just about writing, it's about finding more joy in life, I think. Because if you pay attention to the tiny details of things, you'll see the most incredible stuff. And if you notice more things and you're not just kind of sleepwalking through life, again, you will widen your horizons and enrich your experience of life.
Be more interested and
learn really weird shit. Like, for example, you could go down a rabbit hole of information about something you're interested in, like mushrooms. I went down a rabbit hole earlier and learned that fungi are actually more closely related to us than they are to plants. Mm-hmm. And that some of them are millions of years old and some of them are bigger than entire countries, and they connect literally everything. Like, they connect trees, how trees communicate. It's so interesting. And so I could spend an entire year, disappearing into the fungus. Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's like, if that's all you do, then maybe you need to get a career in mycology or whatever. But, if you want to write. So, for example, I know there are things that you can do, because not all writing is actual writing. Sometimes it's thinking and exploring and playing. So here are some things that you could do. And I did this the other day when I was walking into town from the aerial studio that I go to. Take a different route than your usual route. If you always drive the same way to where you work or where you study or where you go and do a hobby or whatever, go a different way. And see what you can see. Here is one that I think people should do, because one of my pet hates is just seeing people with their ears plugged in. Like, take your earplugs out, take your earpods out, take your earphones out while you're out and about in town or on a train, and listen to what's going on around you. Listen to people's conversation. People have the most incredible conversations. Like, people talk about the weirdest shit, and it makes for really good, you don't have to, I'm not talking about reporting all of their speech, and although I do sometimes do that, I write down what people say, but it might spark an idea for something or a memory. Or it might give you an idea for a topic that you want to write about. If nothing else, it will give you a whole range of different perspectives on the world that isn't fed to you by the media, So that's a really cool thing to do. Yeah. Can you think of any other ways for people to notice more stuff?
Oof, gosh, I don't know. It's difficult. I think you need to actively
make it a habit.
Yeah, make it a habit. You got to like, I'm going to pay more attention to this stuff.
Yeah.
And not, like you say, with earplugs and earphones and whatnot, it's easy to sort of bury yourself off from the world. The same with staring at phones, isn't it? You're on a train, you stare at your phone, you read your book, You don't look out the window, you don't listen to people, you don't talk to people, you don't engage with people, you don't do anything.
One of my favourite things on the tube is when there are no seats available and I have to stand up, because I get to look at people, and I will look at what people are doing, and if I can look at like what they're looking at on their phone or what book they're reading without being noticed, then I will absolutely do that. I will look at their faces. I will try and figure out where they've come from, where they're going, what they're doing. I'll look at the clothes they're wearing, because people wear the most incredible clothes sometimes. So yeah, if you don't get a seat on a train or a bus or something, rather than being pissed off about it, use it as an opportunity to be able to look around you at what people are doing, because it's not always easy to like faff with your phone or whatever while you're standing up. So use that as an opportunity. And there's a really, really cool book that you can nip in and out of. It's not necessarily a read from start to finish book, called The Art of Noticing.
Okay.
By, I'm going to Google it real quick. Hang on.
Yeah. Talk amongst yourselves for a second while Vicky Googles this book. Author?
Rob Walker.
Rob Walker.
It's a lovely little hardback book. It's really beautiful. It's a beautiful book. So yeah, The Art of Noticing by Rob Walker.
Nice.
Yeah. So that is, I think, my favourite exercise. But exercise number 5, there's one more.
Be really extremely specific.
Yes. So, and there's a really good example, and actually I have Harriet to thank for this. Hi, Harriet.
Hi, Harriet.
Thank you for this, because Harriet is also a burlesque dancer and teacher, and she posted on Instagram one of her festive burlesque dances that she's been teaching to her students, and it was to the Grinch song from the movie. And one of the lines that just made me laugh, one of the lines is, "I wouldn't touch you with a 39.5-foot pole." That's a really good example of being ridiculously specific, because it's much funnier than saying I wouldn't touch you with a 10-foot pole, which is what most people say. It's like, well, why is it a 39.5-foot pole? Why? I don't know. It's just funny. But in more everyday examples, if you're not looking to be funny, and by the way, that's another slightly related top tip. If you want to be really funny in your writing, that kind of uber specificity is a really good way to do it. I've chewed my lip to bits again. I'm sure everyone wanted to know that. So yeah, that kind of really specific detail is like, I was so angry that, I don't know, I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but like, I was so angry that I could have, I don't know. That was a great example. Anyway, I've got a more everyday example. So I see a lot of stuff on the internet about becoming a better writer.
Right.
But what does that mean? Like, what does that mean? I don't know. Do you know?
Write better. Use longer words.
It's not a helpful thing to say. And honestly, the number of like courses and things that will promise to make you a better writer, and I'm just like, better is really subjective and nebulous, right? So maybe you want to become a more persuasive writer, a faster writer, a more prolific writer, a more confident writer, a more unique writer, a funnier writer, a more moving writer, a more evocative writer. Yeah? A more poetic writer. All of those different ways of being a, air quotes, better writer. But be really specific about it. Like, I don't want to take a course that's going to make me a better writer. Better according to who? According to the person who's teaching it? Fuck off. That's really subjective.
And they can't write well, for starters.
Well, I'm
not being very specific.
Well, they certainly can't write persuasively. And so, yeah, be really specific. But this is really important for any type of writing. So vague in general is boring. Like, humans are not wired to pay attention to abstract shit. And that's why when you talk about, and you know, let's use COVID as an example. When you talk about the hundreds of thousands of people who have died of COVID, it's just a number. And like, you can sit there and say, no, it's not. It's like, it is. It's intellectually, it's just a number. And you can kind of think, oh, it's terrible. But as soon as you hear about, you know, a 25-year-old who got COVID and was ill for really, you know, a long time, you know their name, you know their background, you know how it affected their family. That's specific and it matters to us. And it's not that the big numbers, it's not that we don't give a shit, it's that we can't. We can't connect with vagueness. We can't. And that doesn't just apply to, that's why, by the way, charities will send you information on a specific person and not just like on a big disaster. It's like this specific person, this disaster.
Person needs your help.
Yeah. Because it works. And so, but that, it's not just about like charity campaigns and kind of making people care. It's about getting people interested as well. So if you want if you want us to be interested in what you're writing about, make it really specific. So I don't just want, I don't just want to know, okay, I don't just want to know that, somebody had a job. If you're writing about a person, it's like, they had a job in a bank. Like, what did they do? What did they do in a bank? Otherwise, I don't know anything about them. So, yeah, vague in general is boring. Specific is fascinating and often very funny. Very, very specific.
Excellent.
So, yeah, I have a ton more of those creative writing exercises and tips, and I weave it all into my coaching. And speaking of coaching, at the end of January, I'm relaunching my 3-month book writing program. Yay! The Weird and Wonderful Book Society.
Nice.
I'm very excited about it. So if you're a bit of a weirdo and you have a wonderful idea for a book that will help people who read it, and you think that maybe there are other people who are a bit weird like you in the world and maybe they would benefit from your book, then and you're done making excuses and procrastinating about why you've not started yet.
Thinking about doing it at some point in the future.
Yeah, because I'm sorry, but to quote like James Bond, tomorrow never dies or comes or something. I don't know. There is only now. There is only now. There is no better time than now. But come and join us. Come join us. Come write your book. You can find out more about that at moxiebooks.co.uk/weird and wonderful. Or you can email me, Vicky, at moxiebooks.co.uk and ask me anything and I will tell you all about it. But most of all, write every day in some way. Build the habit of writing and noticing things and practicing. Yeah.
Nice.
What's the takeaway, Joe?
Do creative writing exercises. Join the Weird and Wonderful.
Yeah, it's really good, isn't it?
It is. It's really good.
The people who have done it have absolutely loved it.
And got stuff done.
Oh, God, yeah, they get stuff done. And I am so proud of what I've created. And I'm so proud of the communities that I've created. I'm so proud of the work that the people who have their books are going to be so great. I'm so excited about them. I'm making a book out of my face with my hands right now. And my hands are covers and my face is the inside of the book. That's probably something that
doesn't work so well on radio.
So next week, it'll be definitely, no, it won't even be January here. I mean, it'll be.
We really should sort out some kind of policy on how we talk about dates on the podcast.
No, I think people like the confusion.
Do they?
Yeah.
Do they really?
Yeah. Because it's the 22nd of December. Only it's not, is it? Sorry. But you did this to me the other day because I was having do you remember when I went out without my wallet or a mask or anything and I had a big panic and then I cried in Sainsbury's and you were like, don't worry, it's okay, it's Wednesday. And I was like, it's not, it's Tuesday. That's not helpful. I feel like I'm being you right now to everybody who's listening. Because it's like that Christmas, New Year, and nobody knows what the hell day it is.
Yeah,
we're
definitely in the kind of rundown to Christmas.
Yeah. Right. Anyway, next week. Or on the next episode of the podcast.
Whenever that might be.
We're going to be talking about why you shouldn't wait another year to write your book.
Yes.
Because you shouldn't. If you've got a book in you, get on with it. So yeah. Call to actions, Joe.
Join Weird and Wonderful, moxiebooks.co.uk/weird and wonderful. That's all one word. If you've listened to every episode, you should email Vicky at moxiebooks.co.uk with your postal address and we'll send you a silly superfan gift.
Yes. And if you like this podcast, go and subscribe, please, because it helps us climb the rankings, or go to Stitcher or wherever and subscribe and leave us a review.
5 stars.
5-star review. It'll help more people laugh. I'm not sure that's what I meant to say. Or share it. And if you don't want to leave us a 5-star review, if you don't like this podcast, other podcasts are available.
They are.
And we've actually done an entire episode recommending other really good podcasts, so you could go and find that. I'm not going to tell you which one it is, because if you don't like it, then I don't want to help. I'm kidding. It's somewhere there. I can't remember what it was.
Other things you could do, moxiebooks.co.uk/calendar.
Yes.
Where there are lots of things for you to do over a month.
Yeah, free writing prompts from me because I'm nice. And that's it for today. I just wanted to say Happy New Year to you. Well done. This year has been total shit again, but also I think it's been full of wonders and beauty. So I hope that even if you've had a really tough year, I hope that you have found some lightness in it as well. And I think you're doing brilliantly. Keep going.
Well done.
Yeah, well done. We've all done brilliantly. And thank you for listening. And you're loved. We love you. Don't give up. Keep writing. And make 2022 a success, whatever that looks like for you. Whatever that looks like.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to thank as well Podfly for always making us sound professional-ish.
Slightly less shoddy than we are.
Slightly less shoddy than we are. They do an amazing job. Thank you, Podfly. You're all awesome. And thank you, Harriet, for being awesome.
Lovely Harriet.
Lovely Harriet, without whom I could not find my socks. No, she's not that much of an assistant, but, I couldn't find my metaphorical socks without her. And thank you to Team Moxie, who have been in my power hours for the last year and a half. A year and a half it's been. Getting stuff done. And honestly, they light up my mornings, like every morning.
That's cool.
Where I have a chit about stuff, a chit chat. And I learned so many things from them. So yeah.
Cool.
Come and join us if you want. You can come to moxiebooks.co.uk/power hour. I'd love to have you. You can join us for a week for £1.20.
Wow.
Try it out. And if you hate it, you don't have to come back. You don't even have to tell me why. Although it would be helpful if you could tell me why. And if you love it, you can stay. And it's £50 a month.
Cool.
But you can try it out for a whole £1.20.
See how much you get done during that week.
Yeah. And better than that, meet the most incredible group of people. Because they're amazing. Right, going. Thanks. Happy New Year. Lots of love. Thank you to you, listener, for sticking with us for 288 episodes. Jesus.
I don't know why you've done it, but thank you anyway.
Yeah, we really appreciate it because otherwise we're just bellowing into the void.
Which has its purposes.
Maybe we should rename the podcast Bellowing into the Void.
Maybe.
Happy New Year, Joe.
Happy New Year.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for listening. You can find links and show notes on the website at moxiebooks.co.uk/podcast, where you can also sign up for the best daily emails in the multiverse and find loads of free resources to help you write your book. We'll be back the same time next week with more tales from the book writing trenches and the latest on what the tiny sheeps have been up to.